Starmer is in awe, weirdly, of the French socialist model. Macron is basically a fake populist. He conned the public. Milei, the Argentinian president, has turned out to be almost a genius. I'm Allister Heath, and I'm responding to some of the excellent reader comments on my latest article chronicling the decline of Britain and France. The first question is by Deborah Slattery. When Starmer took the knee, he showed us all what a grovelling apologist he was. Macron is playing him like a fiddle. I agree that it was a mistake for Starmer to take the knee. In fact, I think it's a mistake for anybody to take the knee because it showed fealty to a woke ideology that is entirely destructive and wrong-headed. But I think what we saw when Macron came to London is slightly different. It is that Starmer is in awe, weirdly, of the French socialist model. He looks at France and thinks, hey, look at all these high taxes, look at all this high public spending. I wish Britain were like that. I wish we could get away with these sorts of policies. And I think that is one of the reasons why he allows Macron to play us like a fiddle, why he keeps getting fooled and conned by the French elites who basically extract cash from us, take over our fisheries, and give us very little in return. He's too naive when it comes to interacting with them, and also, to be honest, when it comes to interacting with the whole of the European Union establishment. I must have been watching a different event. All I saw was a pair of politicians showing each other the mutual respect due. Well, obviously, it's all in the eye of the beholder. When I saw those scenes, I was revolted, to be honest. I saw the French president cosplaying as being a world leader, and I saw Starmer begging France effectively for crumbs. I think it's a tragedy how far Britain has fallen. We used to be the nation of Churchill and Thatcher, who were giants. Tony Blair was a giant, even though I disagreed with him. And I see Macron, who's basically, again, an inferior character. He is not of the same standard. He's not even like Mitterrand or Chirac. They had a philosophy. Macron is basically a fake populist. He conned the public. He's an ultra-centrist but pretended to be an outsider. And it worked for him personally because he became president and then was re-elected. So it's been a complete catastrophe for France, and we need something to happen for this to change, for the two countries to start recovering again. The next point is from Neil Rushworth. Take a look at Argentina for the direction needed. Current 7.5% growth doesn't get reported, does it? Well, it does, but you're right, it needs to be reported even more. Milei, the Argentinian president, has turned out to be almost a genius. What he's done is marrying populism with very sound free market economics. It's a very unique tale of a country that was effectively bankrupt, a once rich country that went into a multi-decade decline, but is now being turned around. And remarkably, where the president who's doing all of that, Milei, is actually very, very popular. The public love him, and for good reason. We need politicians like Milei in Britain and America. That is the answer, not various forms of left-wing populism or even the Trump model. It's all a matter of interpretation. AH can't help viewing events through the lens of his right-wing prejudice. Some of us see Keir Starmer as taking a more circumspect approach to rebuilding cordial relations with our closest neighbours after the souring and damaging effects of Brexit. I voted Leave, the wrong decision for the right reasons, but now see the need to forge a fresh, judicious entente. Well, I wouldn't describe my views as prejudice, but I do agree that we need to rebuild relations with France, but I'm afraid to say that's not possible for as long as Macron is president. It is Macron who poisoned relations with Britain. Brexit was a democratic act. The French and the rest of the EU had a choice. They could either have recognised and respected that act and then tried to push through a mutually advantageous new relationship of equals after the referendum, or, as they actually did, they could have tried to sabotage Brexit and extract as much as possible for the EU. Starmer's approach to France is wrong. He's begging, but he should not be begging, he should be negotiating as an equal. The next question is from Alex Williams. And yet people still risk their lives to come here. We're still both caring countries who tread a balance between respect for the law and freedom. I think there are two problems. The first problem in the case of the UK in particular is that the welfare state is too generous to people who come here. People should come here if they are either genuinely at risk or if they want to work, and only in small, very controlled numbers. The second big issue is that why do people go to France and then move to Britain? If you're truly in fear of your life and truly seeking a better life, and there's nothing wrong with that, then you should stay in France. In fact, you should stay in the first safe country you arrive in. It may be easier, more attractive to come to Britain because we speak English, because we've got a more deregulated labour market, because it's easier to get a job, but that's not a good enough reason. The entire asylum system needs to change, and I'm afraid to say Starmer isn't the man to do this. Thanks very much to all our subscribers for taking the time to comment under my article. I appreciate it very much, and we will be back soon.